It's time! And now, introducing your host, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Boston, Massachusetts, presenting live,
the Bostonian versus the Book. Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the Book.
Here he is, Matt Perrault!
Enjoy the show, enjoy the show, enjoy the show, enjoy the show.
What's up, Brigade? Welcome into the Wednesday episode of BvB being presented by Betcris Arizona. My name is Matt Perrault. We are live on the YouTube channel at Opening Line Media. Have you subscribed to that yet? Remember, we've changed that. This is a week of change. A lot of things happening this week. We're live, though, at Boston versus the Book on X. At Opening Line HQ is the X channel for our friends, our new little thing that we got rolling. If you've not subscribed or followed either one, please go ahead and do so. Program today is going to be all over the place. Why? Well, baseball's back. We've got basketball, we've got baseball, we've got college basketball, and we've got football to get into today on the program. Some news of the industry to jump in with as well. It's one of those middle of the month of March type days where there's a lot of things to talk about, a lot of fun things to get into, a huge NBA game, a big NBA story to get into, including what we talked about yesterday involving Las Vegas and Seattle. That vote did happen yesterday afternoon. It has been approved, and the NBA is eyeballing, well, billions. If you're going to be in the running to own the new franchise in either Seattle or Las Vegas, you better bring your checkbook because it's going to be uber expensive to get anything done here in terms of ownership, to be the owner of the Supersonics and or the Las Vegas, whatever we're going to call the Las Vegas team. There's already odds out as of right now as to what the team's going to be called. I think it's going to really depend upon the owner, to be quite honest, because if you saw with the Golden Knights, Bill Foley was hell-bent on the word Knight. He wanted the Black Knights because he went to Army, and he wanted the Black Knights to be the name of the team. The Black Knights said, no, you can't use that. That's ours. Then they looked at the Silver Knights, and the Silver Knights said, sorry, that's a team down in the South. You can't use Silver Knights. And then he went with Golden Knights. So if you know how exactly that ended up coming to be, that was weird, the way that it came to be for the Vegas Golden Knights, because silver is the main, like the silver state. That's what Nevada is. So golden was weird. Yes, there's gold here, but golden is typically California. So it was a whole weird thing. And technically gold is found in the northern part of the state, not the southern part of the state. So the Golden Knights is weird. Like that name makes really no sense. But then again, the LA Lakers makes no sense either. So, you know, it is what it is. I don't know what the team name is going to be. I think it's going to be fun to see whatever it's going to be at some point. But everybody here in town is pretty jacked because it looks like that is what's going to happen for Vegas to become the 31st or 32nd city, whatever you kind of want to call it. The main story for the opening line, brought to you by Huel, is actually not something I normally jump into, but when a job like North Carolina opens up, I think we have to talk about it because it is massive. There's betting odds out on it as well, but who gets this job? North Carolina basketball. Hubert Davis fired last night. It is the opening line presented by Huel. Hubert Davis gone, fired from North Carolina. Who could be next up to get one of the most prestigious jobs in all of college athletics? You know, there's Alabama football. There is Duke and North Carolina basketball. You talk about jobs that everyone looks at and says, wow, how rare is it for that job to open up, right? The head coach of the Dallas Cowboys the head coach of the Chicago Bears, just the legendary brands that everyone covets. Manager of the New York Yankees, manager of the LA Dodgers, just these brands that are bigger than any person that gets the job. You are not the owner of that job. You just are the steward to hold on to it until you get fired at some point, because that's going to wind up happening. Opening lines being brought to you by our friends at Huel. If you guys haven't gone and used the promo code yet, you can go and do so. High protein, high in fiber, 27 vitamins and minerals. It is gluten-free. It is vegan. You can make 40-gram protein meal shakes. These are meal replacements. These are not just something you're going to take for a smoothie. This is a meal replacement. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your first order by going to Huel.com/BvB for new customers only, but using that code BvB will save you 15% off your first order at Huel. The drinks, the ready-to-drink shakes are easy, convenient, and they've got tons of protein and tons of nutrients. I tend to lean towards the powder to make my own protein meals, but either or, very, very good stuff here with Huel. Huel.com/BvB to save 15% off of your online order. You can find Huel in Target and now in select Costco's as well. Hubert Davis was a guy that at one point was 19-4 on the year this year with Carolina. Caleb Wilson, his best player, got hurt and he got fired. Like, that is a tough gig. That's tough, man. When you're one of the best teams in college basketball at one point and everything's going really well for you, and then everything falls apart. You blow a 19-point lead against VCU. You get bounced. Everyone's going, oh my gosh, this is not the guy. You can't coach here anymore. And Hubert Davis gets blown out by North Carolina last night. It was expected. It's not stunning, but it is on some levels shocking that a program has decided to fire Hubert Davis, who went 125-54. He made the national title game. He didn't win it, but he made it. He ended Coach K's career with the only tournament matchup between Duke and North Carolina ever. He won that game. And now he's out because he was 19-4 and things fell apart. It shows you how difficult it is in today's college basketball and today's high-level coaching that, just because you have a good year, when you're at these programs that have the highest of standards, a good year is not good enough. You must be great, not good, to keep your job. Last night on Instagram, Hubert Davis wrote, "Tonight, I was let go by the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. My desire was to continue to coach here. This opportunity has truly been such a blessing. I thank Jesus literally every day for giving me the opportunity, relationships, and experiences with the kids and my staff. I am very proud of what we were able to accomplish together. My goal is to coach again in the very near future." That's a coach who's pissed off. When you get let go by a program, and that is your statement, that is telling the world, I am open for business. Come get me. I look at my resume. Look what I did. Look what I did at North Carolina. I am very proud of what I accomplished. They don't think I deserve the job anymore, but I think I deserve the job. So someone else, come get me. I'm available. How quickly does Hubert Davis get another job? I don't know. I'll be curious. Ian Lights Out, our resident North Carolina fan, saying Hubert gave us two of the greatest wins in program history, never forgotten. Both over Duke, both in the same year. He ended Coach K's career at Duke. The last home game that Duke had with Coach K, North Carolina won that game, and Hubert Davis was the coach. Then in the ensuing tournament, Duke and North Carolina played against each other, and then wound up losing. Duke wound up losing to Hubert Davis again in the tournament to North Carolina against Coach K. He ended Coach K's coaching career. Last game Coach K coached, he lost. So, big deal. Our friends at Rabbet don't like the Cubs. They're White Sox fans. They don't like the Cubs. Sorry. Send me some White Sox gear. I'll wear White Sox gear. I mean, it's been tough for you guys, but I only have let's see. I was going through my closet this morning and I was like, what hats do I have for opening day? Clearly I have like 5 Red Sox hats, but I've got a Braves hat. I have a Cubs hat. I think I've got one other team. I only have like 4 or 5 teams for actual non-Red Sox gear. I have, as you'd expect, I have 0 Yankees gear. I have no Mets gear. Oh, I have a Phillies hat. Yeah, I think I have a Phillies hat somewhere. So that's what I have on that. So we'll see. Anyways, speaking of Chicago, the odds-on favorite to get this job is Billy Donovan. Offshore has him as the leading candidate to leave the Bulls, to go back to college, to coach North Carolina. Does he want that grind? Here's the thing about the Carolina job, which is so interesting to me, at least in any high profile job like in Alabama, a Notre Dame, football, when you've got this bar that you have to hit to be successful, to be considered a successful hire, you have to win a championship. And can you win a championship in North Carolina? Of course you can, but it's all or nothing there. You have to deal with a new type of athlete. I was reading yesterday about the number of high school teams that are seeing 8th graders be held back intentionally right now by parents. So it used to be in my age, when I was in high school, the prep year became a thing. If you don't know what the prep year is you would graduate high school and then you would go to one of these private schools in New England where you would spend a gap year getting bigger and stronger. So if you were, say, 18 coming out of high school, you would then go to college at 19. And so you had a whole nother year of working out, a whole nother year of getting better and being recruited by high-level college coaches. Well, now it's becoming high school in which you are taking the gap year. Between middle school and high school, these kids are taking gap years. Why? Because you are allowed legally, and it depends on the state, but most states allow high school kids now to get name, image, and likeness deals. So, if you're a high-level basketball player at, some school in the suburbs of Chicago, right? You're allowed to get money from the local car dealership. You're allowed to get money from the local pizza joint. You can sign their low-level deals, but you can get signed as a high school player. You can be on billboards and you can be on commercials and you can endorse products as a high school kid. And that is happening. And so it's more beneficial to enter 9th grade, not as what you would expect 14, 13 years of age, rather go into it at 15. So you go into high school as a 15-year-old. You come out of high school as a 19-year-old. You do the prep year, then you're 20. You then go to college as a 21-year-old freshman. Now you're in college for 5 years. Now you're 26 years of age. Like, this is going to be commonplace. So my question to Billy Donovan, or anybody who is currently in the NBA, do you really want to deal with this? Like, if are you excited about coming back to a college game where you've won 2 national championships by doing it the old school way, recruiting and developing? Look at the seniors and the juniors that were on Florida's national championship team when Donovan was the coach before he left. The game has totally changed. If I'm Billy Donovan, I don't know if I want to leave the NBA, even if the Bulls are going to fire me because things haven't gone great with Billy Donovan, even if I'm not going to get a great, another year maybe in Chicago. Do I want to go coach at North Carolina? Do I want that strife? I'm not sure that I do. I'm not sure that's what I'd be interested in doing. So to me, I think there's going to be a lot of conversations around the NBA versus the college ranks. And as a head coach, I think coaching in the NBA is far easier right now. There's a lot less drama. There's a lot less baloney that goes on. I mean, you aren't out there negotiating with really parents. These kids aren't negotiating their deals. Their agents or their parents are negotiating their NIL deals. And it's a different type of world. to go in there and say, okay, I'll offer you $1 million to play college basketball. And the kid says no, because that school is going to give me 1.5 million. And it's happening look what Indiana just spent on their roster. Indiana spent $30 million on that roster. And I love D-Rock, but that's not what D-Rock is great at. Alan Huss was introduced today as the new head coach for Creighton basketball. And he talked about the fact that the team last year, or this past season under Coach McDermott, they lost their joy. The joy of playing basketball for the Creighton Blue Jays. The team lost that. And all I could think of was, yeah, no shit, they lost that. Why did they lose it? They lost it because they're getting paid. Look, having a job sucks. Okay? It sucks. Part of the joy of being a college kid is that you don't have a job, that you don't have responsibilities, that you don't have to worry about the stress of life, right? But if you're a kid who's making $1 million, you don't think your parents are looking at you and they need you to pay for stuff? They need you to take care of the family, that cousins and uncles and other people come out of the woodwork with their hand out to say, hey, can I have some money? That sucks. Okay? That's not fun because everyone knows now you got it, right? You didn't have it before, but now you got it. And now everyone's coming and want their piece. Hey, man, I helped you in 7th grade. Hey, remember that camp I went with you? Blah, blah. So yeah, I can get it because schools like Creighton University never were about that. They never were about putting you in the NBA. They never were about winning and making you a millionaire. If you happen to be one and turn into one, that's great. But these kids, I think we have done such a disservice with the way we have approached the game and how haphazardly we have done name, image, and likeness. And there are a lot of schools who are going to struggle and a lot of coaches who are going to struggle. So I don't know if I am Billy Donovan. I don't think I'm going back to college, even at North Carolina, even with a job like that, a prestigious job that's going to pay me a ton of money to become the next head coach of North Carolina, because they normally don't go outside the family. The one big rarity about the names being thrown around to be a college basketball coach at North Carolina now is you don't need to be tied to Chapel Hill, which is they had in my lifetime. I've never seen that. They hired Matt Doherty. They hired Hubert Davis. This is Roy Williams. They stay in the family, and they're not going to do that anymore. So now this is going to be really interesting to see what happens next because North Carolina is open. Kansas is right behind them. It looks like Bill Self is going to walk. And if you guys see it, there's rumors today that it might come down that Bill Self will announce his retirement today and he will step away from Kansas. And if that happens, that's why I think when I hear the names like TJ Otzelberger, Tommy Lloyd, and Nate Oates being tied to North Carolina, I can tell you that TJ Otzelberger, I don't think North Carolina is a good fit for TJ, and I don't think TJ would want that job at the moment. Okay. It is North Carolina. I'll give it to you. Every kid grows up. He's a kid from Wisconsin. He's my age. Every kid's growing up. You know what North Carolina was. I've told the story on the air before. I almost went to North Carolina. I loved it so much that my aunt was living there and I was going to move and spend my senior year in high school living with her so I could get in-state tuition to go to North Carolina. Now, ultimately, I didn't do that because of sports, but that was my thought. That's how much I love North Carolina. TJ, obviously, if he gets offered that job, I think he would be hard-pressed to say no, but I do think he would say no. If Kansas offers TJ Otzelberger the job, that's the job. I don't think he says no to that. I even with it being, just down the road, and there'd be people saying, well, wait a minute, this is Iowa State. He has a $4 million buyout. KU can absorb that in 2 seconds. And to go to Fog Allen, to be in that building with those fans, he's got it really good. In Ames, he has it really good. And his wife, Allison, is a Hall of Fame Iowa State women's basketball player. Their kids love Ames. I got to know the family when they were here at UNLV. Allison hates the cold, and she loved it here in Nevada because of the heat. She's from Australia, so she likes the heat. Iowa and Ames, no way. It's freezing cold. But North Carolina is not warm enough. That would be the only like real detractor. In KU, in Lawrence, Kansas, it's the same climate as Ames, basically. It's a little colder in Ames, but it's very similar, obviously, with Kansas. But the prestige and the money that would come with KU, I think that's where you would wind up seeing TJ Otzelberger going to Kansas if they offered him the job, if Bill Self retires. And that's the job that if I'm an Iowa State fan and I'm worried about losing TJ Otzelberger, I'm not worried about North Carolina. I don't think on both sides. I'm not sure that Carolina wants TJ, and I don't think TJ would want Carolina. Kansas is a whole different story. I do think TJ Otzelberger would be a candidate for KU, and I do think he would be interested in that job. Who gets the Carolina job if it's not going to be Billy Donovan? That's going to be really interesting to see how it goes down. Nate Oates would be a pretty good hire. I mean, Nate Oates has done really good work leaving, Buffalo and going to Alabama, and now Alabama going to North Carolina potentially. That would be, I think, a home run hire. I don't know about Tommy Lloyd, although I do think Tommy Lloyd would win at North Carolina. He's won everywhere he has been, and I think he's a young and upcoming coach who understands the current world, the NIL world, that he could win at North Carolina very quickly. But again, that's a guy who has been out west, now going to come back east to coach with Carolina. These coaches are recruiting globally, not just, locally or nationally. So I'm not worried about getting players at North Carolina, but the roster turnover that we are seeing so consistently, it's not easy to do. And these coaches are still, Arizona's got a big game coming up in 2 days. Like it's not like Arizona's coach is out there doing nothing right now, or that TJ Otzelberger is doing nothing, or Nate Oates is doing nothing. These coaches have big games here in the Sweet 16. So I don't think it's going to be a quick situation where we find out who gets Carolina fast, but I do think there's going to be a big name hire at some point in the very near future. I just don't think it's going to be Billy Donovan. I would be very surprised if it's Billy Donovan. I think it's probably going to be a current coach that's in the Sweet 16 right now, but I don't know. Eric's asking, what about Jay Wright? I think Jay Wright's pretty good with where he's at. I think Jay Wright likes retirement. I think Jay Wright is, when Coach McDermott in Creighton, they're coming here for the Crown tournament on April the 2nd. They play against Rutgers. And that's the question I want to ask Coach McDermott. Like, are you retiring, or are you retiring for right now? Like, which is it? Which is it? Are you retiring, or are you retiring right now? Because it feels like you're retiring for right now. And Jay Wright, when he walked away, it felt like he was retiring for right now, and then another job could step up. Could the Carolina job get him out? Absolutely. But here's the question. Coach McDermott, I think, is retiring because he doesn't want to be a part of this. The name, image, and likeness world isn't fun for these coaches who have developed young people, whose lives are there for the development of a sophomore in high school until the young man graduates college, goes into the workforce, gets married, has a family, and then comes back. You guys who are in Iowa, you know this. Okay, you have seen this consistently at Northern Iowa with Ben Jacobson, at Iowa State, and Northern Iowa, and at Creighton for Coach McDermott. That's what makes them tick. Not championships and winning is all great, but they want to be in the world of teaching and developing young men and turning them into successful men and giving them the foundation and the tools to go off and be successful. And they can't wait to see them come back with their wives and their children and their families, and then to go and show the next generation, hey, look it, this kid was here in your shoes. Look what he went on. He became a dentist. He became a doctor. He became a lawyer. He became a politician. He became a business owner. Like whatever they wound up being, but the success that they see after they leave campus, that is what these coaches are all about. In today's basketball world, there's none of that. There's absolutely none of that. It's about winning right now. It's about what can you give me? How much money am I going to get? And if you don't give me what I want, I'm going somewhere else. These kids are playing 4 years at 4 different schools. That's awful. That's not what this was supposed to be. Like if we're going to pay these kids, we've got to build a structure around it. We got to have contracts and we got to have transfer rules and we got to have some level of control. Like this wild, wild west baloney. I don't blame Coach McDermott for retiring. I don't blame other coaches. If Bill Self walks away, I don't blame Bill Self to say, see ya, I'm out. Like, you see what I dealt with Darren Peterson all year? I don't want to deal with that crap. I had a player who probably hurt himself in the draft stock because he was so selfish and such a pain in the neck, playing, not playing, cramping, not cramping. It was a complete soap opera for a kid that's going to make a lot of money next year, going to be picked highly in the draft. So we're broken. College basketball, college football, it's broken. Who fixes it? I don't know. But I don't know if Hubert Davis stays on the sidelines for very long. But I don't think Billy Donovan's running back to college being like, yeah, that looks like a place I want to coach. I want to be a part of that. Maybe I'm wrong, and I've been wrong before. But the odds-on favorite, everyone thinks it's Billy Donovan. He's getting the job because of what's going on with the Bulls. Maybe he wants to go back to college. Maybe he just wants to get a big job at a big place, and he couldn't go back to a small job after leaving the NBA. He would need a very high, prestigious position. That clearly is the head coach of North Carolina. But does he want to leave the NBA for this? I don't know. Let's talk about what happened last night. What happened last night? Well, it happened Wednesday afternoon or Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday morning. The NBA has voted, and yes, they have approved the potential expansion for the league. The Board of Governors approved a vote for the league to explore bids and applications for expansion teams exclusively in Las Vegas and Seattle. So nowhere else, not Nashville, nowhere else. The NBA will move to Vegas and Seattle. Sources telling ESPN that a bidding process is expected to generate offers in the neighborhood of $7 to $10 billion for each team. What's interesting is that LeBron James has changed his opinion. LeBron James was saying he wanted to be part of the ownership group here in Vegas, that he was very interested in being part of ownership here in Vegas. And he has now said that he's not interested anymore. Shaquille O'Neal has been the leader in the clubhouse to be a part of a group that's going to be part owner of the team here in Vegas. I would put my money on Shaquille O'Neal to be the face of the ownership group, whomever he partners up with. But Shaq has had a very big presence here in Vegas for the last couple of years. His Big Chicken line of restaurants has done very well here in Vegas. He has opened up other establishments around town, and he has been pretty vocal about his desire to be a part of ownership here with the expansion team. And I think LeBron saw the writing on the wall, and LeBron just backed off, said, okay, I don't want it anymore. Even though he did very much want it, he lost out. Who gets the Seattle bid? I have no idea. I mean, there's going to be a long list of people who are going to want to be part of ownership for the new Seattle Supersonics. But it's coming in 2028, 2029. It appears that we will have 32 teams in the NBA. Where will the team play in Vegas? We don't know the answer to that question. T-Mobile is sitting right there. It is partly owned and controlled by Bill Foley, who owns the Golden Knights. Bill Foley very well might be part of the ownership group for the NBA team as well. But Bill Foley has said hockey comes first. We'll take basketball. You can play at T-Mobile Arena, but hockey comes first for scheduling. The NBA is not going to like that. So they very well might go and try to build their own arena. I can tell you, we don't need another arena built in Vegas. There's plenty. Okay. We don't need another one, but my gut tells me is that they're probably going to build another one and build it somewhere on the strip, because the A's are building right at the intersection where, if you guys have ever been to Vegas, it's right where MGM Grand is across the street. That's where the A's ballpark is being built. You've got T-Mobile Arena, which is catty corner from that, which you can almost throw a baseball and hit T-Mobile from the A's stadium being built. Football stadium is just on the other side of the highway, which is kind of T-Mobile Arena and then Allegiant Stadium. Where are you building the basketball court, the basketball arena? This is some of the most expensive real estate in the world on the Las Vegas Strip. So I'm not sure where they're going to build it if they are. They should play it at T-Mobile Arena, but now we do know that they will be playing here in Las Vegas. It's going to be fun. Yeah, it's going to be Supersonics, 100%. Yep. Ish is asking, do they get their history back before they became OKC? I actually don't know the answer to that question. That's a really good question, because if you remember, when the Browns left to go become the Ravens, the Browns retained all records and all branding, logos, IP, because the league knew they were going to put a team back one day in Cleveland. And then they did. I don't know what the NBA did. If the NBA hung on to all name branding for the Supersonics when they became the OKC Thunder, so we go back to the record books and we talk about the new version of the Seattle Supersonics, but they get to go by their old records and the old IP. Don't know the answer to that, but that would be pretty cool. That would be neat. If Nevada is like Arizona, they'll build the NBA arena in Boulder City or somewhere. Yeah, that's been the new world, right? I mean, like the Bears building their football stadium in Indiana, the Giants and the Jets building their football stadium in New Jersey. Like that's like the new world here, right? You can just claim you're part of that city and then build it a billion miles away and still be claiming that you're part of that city, even though you're not anywhere near it. So I don't know. I think that's an interesting look, but no, it'll be somewhere on the Strip. That would be bad otherwise. Everyone is buzzing about the press conference to introduce the new head coach of Providence basketball, Brian Hodgson, who left South Florida to become the new head coach at Providence. He said in the postgame or in the press conference to introduce himself to Providence Friar fans and media, he said, quote, "If you ever want to question my recruiting abilities, just look at my wife." Now, I'm not going to put a picture of his wife. His wife is very pretty. My problem with this story and how everybody is picking it up and running with it, and my problem with the story, because everybody is so enamored in putting this headline up and laughing and joking around about this thing, he already used the line. When he was introduced as the head coach of South Florida, he used the same line. And so you can't use old material just because you have a bigger platform. It's like a comic going and using his old lines and using it again just because that audience hadn't heard it, but you used it before. So you're getting all this credit for making this joke, but it was used before. So I'm not the biggest of fans of Providence basketball. As a Creighton guy, I like the dunk. Okay, it's not called that anymore, but PC, as I call it, Providence College, it very similar in terms of tradition in academics and, you know, kind of a mirror image of Creighton, except it's in Providence, Rhode Island. Everyone's falling over themselves about this guy going, "Oh my God, what a funny line. Look at this." And yeah, he's right. His wife is gorgeous. Like, he already knew that line worked. He already used the line. Can't do it. He already knew. He already used it. Come on, man. Get something new. Write some new material. If you're going to drop that number, you're going to drop that rhyme, you're going to drop that rant. That bar's been already played. What are we doing? Don't like it. He's getting everyone thinks that guy's a riot. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is amazing." His wife is very attractive. Yes, she's pretty, but come on. Tiger's back. Everyone's jumping up and down about Tiger. He's back. His team lost, but Tiger played golf yesterday. And does that mean Tiger Woods is going to play in the Masters? I don't know. I sure hope it does. Everyone my age, every 40-year-old, 48-year-old person in the country, we see Tiger playing golf and we all stop and go, "Wait, Tiger's playing golf? Hold on, where? Where's Tiger playing golf?" "Well, it's Mickey Mouse golf." "Yeah, but it's golf though, right?" "Yeah, but it's a computer animation. It's like fake golf, but it's golf, right? Tiger's hitting a golf ball." "Well, yeah, he's hitting a golf ball, but he's not walking." "I know, but Tiger's hitting a golf ball." Tiger Woods is playing golf. We have to watch. His team lost again. He missed a 4-foot putt that his team needed, but what doesn't matter. Tiger Woods hit a stinger 300 yards and everybody freaked out because everyone thinks that Tiger will never play golf again. Tiger played golf yesterday. That's all anyone cares about is that Tiger Woods played golf yesterday and he might play in the Masters. He hasn't played golf in forever, but he might. Joel says he's not back. The dude's laboring at Topgolf. That's a good point. Yes. Yes, he is. He doesn't look completely comfortable. He doesn't. And walking 4 days in a row, 18 holes on the hills of Augusta, far cry from playing TGL golf on ESPN and hitting a golf ball into a screen and having to actually go out there and play. So I hope Tiger plays in the Masters. He has not ruled it out, but I agree with Joel. Just because Tiger played on the TGL last night does not mean Tiger Woods is going to wind up playing real golf at the Masters in a major in April in 2 weeks. Don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I hope it does. I think everybody would love it, but yeah, this is from Kevin Roper. I already took off work on the 9th to watch Thursday of the Masters. I hope he's back, but could see make the cut on the line and a withdrawal on Saturday. Whoa. Okay. I mean, there's going to be, as we always talk about, if Tiger Woods is playing in the Masters, the handle is extremely impacted. It balloons when Tiger is out there. Everybody bets Tiger to win. Everyone bets Tiger to make the cut. The best bets are Tiger to not win the Masters and to Tiger to miss the cut. Those are the best bets. And then what does he do? I mean, he'll go out there and be competitive. And if he makes the cut on Saturday, the ratings go through the roof if Tiger Woods makes the cut at Augusta. I think we all agree, anybody who watches the game of golf, who have enjoyed the game of golf or understands the game of golf, you know that Augusta National is where Tiger Woods will play golf until most likely he cannot play golf anymore. He will be an honorary. He always said he did not want to be a ceremonial addition to the Masters, that he would stop playing when he thought he couldn't win it. But he's always going to think he can win it because it's course knowledge, because he has dominated that course. It's different in the US Open and the British Open. It doesn't move. It's the same place every single year, same pin placements basically every year. Tiger has insane knowledge of the course and knows what to do to get around that course to be competitive and to make the cut. So I think Tiger will play this tournament until like he's 70, basically. Like it'll be Arnie, and it'll be like when I walked on the par 3, when I watched Jack, Arnie, and Gary Player go and play in the par 3. It's going to be like that. And Tiger will be, it's one of the few places where Tiger still is showered with unconditional love by everyone. By everyone. So I hope Tiger plays the Masters. I hope he makes the cut at the Masters. I hope we're all watching it Thursday and Friday here together, and we're all going, oh my gosh, can you believe Tiger, what he's doing? But I just don't buy it. The body the mind's still there. The body is not. Like you watch that swing, and it's not what you would expect from Tiger Woods. Guys, baseball is back. There are some new rules we have to talk about before we make bets tonight on the opening night, and then tomorrow with the full slate of games. And tomorrow we will do win totals and future bets for Major League Baseball. But for today, let's jump down the rabbit hole with the rules. It is being brought to you by Rabbet, the peer-to-peer sports betting platform where you guys create and share custom sports picks. You take your trash talk out of the group chat and you can make it into real money. You bet with your friends, not the house. And Rabbet is giving you a chance to use their product for free. Use their app for free. When you sign up, use the code Rabbet5 for 5 free Rabbet cash to go ahead and set whatever you guys want to set up from a bet perspective. Create and share custom sports picks by downloading the app on the Google Play or the Apple Store today. So Major League Baseball is back, and Major League Baseball has some new rules. The new rules, I think, are important to pay attention. There's about 3 or 4 new ones, but there's 2 that I think are very important that you have to pay attention to. The first is obviously the ABS system is here, and it could have a dramatic impact on the game. What are the rules? It's different than spring training, okay? This is not an unlimited use of this. You have to actually look at it and go, okay, how much can you use this? Here is what you need to know about the ABS challenge system. Who can issue a challenge? The batter, the pitcher, or the catcher can all challenge the umpire. And say, I want it challenged. I'm challenging that strike call. Challenges must be made immediately after the umpire's call without assistance from the dugout or other players. Meaning a guy cannot step out and he hears it from his manager, challenge that. That's not allowed. You can't do that. Some teams have already indicated that they will forbid their pitchers from challenging, preferring the deferred to the catcher's vantage point in terms of where a challenge will be initiated. Pitchers, some of them, like, who am I blanking, said that they would never challenge. I've seen a bunch of pitchers in spring training say that they would never challenge because of how far away they are. So they're going to pitch, and if the catcher thinks it's a strike, the catcher can tap the head, and that's the signal to challenge. But you only get 2 on either side per game. You get 2. If you go to extra innings, you get more. You get 1 more in extra innings. Each team will get an additional, but you only get 2. So you can't be doing this constantly, right? So you're going to hang on to your challenges until later in the game. You don't want it to be in the first inning. You don't want it to be in the 3rd inning. You want this to go all the way till the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning, which means most often starting pitchers will not have this. This is going to be big for your catchers and big for your relievers. It's going to be big for your closers who come in, who are throwing gas, and then want a borderline strike call. If they don't get it, they tap the head, and there could be games that are going to end on a challenge call. Now, what does this do to late game situations? I think there's going to be a very interesting learning curve in the late game situations, and as we're betting this, to see what ends up happening with the catchers and the umpires and the relationship that they have. Are umpires going to be different late in the game than they're going to be in the beginning part of the game? Because no umpire wants to be challenged. No umpire wants to be overturned. In spring training, it was just like tap, 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 right? They were getting used to using the system and getting used to the process in which they were going to challenge a strike call or a ball call. Well, you only get 2. So when you only get 2, that's significant. You're not going to use that early. How is the ABS strike zone measured? Like the plate, it's 17 inches wide. The top of the zone is 53.5% of the player's height, which essentially is like their belt buckle, while the bottom is at 27% of a player's height. The depth of the zone is 8.5 inches from both the front and the back of the plate at its center. Does that matter? I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Are there safeguards in place to prevent cheating? Yes. MLB has instituted a delay on all pitch location data, such as the Game Day app. Additionally, the broadcast feed with the strike zone box will not be available live. There will be a delay of a few seconds. Clubs are also prohibited from using their own ball tracking systems, and MLB will review video from all challenges to monitor for suspicious behavior. I'm going to say it again, and this is to Major League Baseball. Wake up. Sportsbooks, wake up. Get rid of micro betting today. Okay? Get rid of the ball strike. Get rid of the pitch speed. Get rid of all of it. Okay? Don't allow gambling on any of it. If you are a league partner, Let the offshores deal with it. If they want to go ahead and do that, let them go ahead and do that. But the market is not big enough. The interest is not widespread enough for the problems that are potentially going to be brought up from the ABS challenge system. If you're having to grade, how late do you grade that strike ball market? Because the players want to bet consistently, right? They want to get it settled fast. So if you bet it and it comes in, you want that bet cashed, you want that money back into your account, and you want to be able to play it. Now, how long do you have to wait to get your money back after that one bet? And you're just going to piss off your client and piss off your customers because they're going to want to bet that, but you just saw that MLB is delaying all data transfer. So if you're using Sport Radar, and Sport Radar is the one that has to grade it as a ball or a strike, and that's how you determine whether you're going to pay out the bet or not. Get rid of all of it. Like, just get rid of it. Stop taking bets on this stuff. It's right there in plain English, how difficult it's going to be to police this stuff. It's going to be hard. And so why would you want that drama? Why would you want that problem if you're Major League Baseball? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm very curious as to how this goes. I'm very curious, does baseball wake up at some point in the near future and say, okay, we don't need any of this. This is far too complicated and far too confusing. The other big news from baseball that is going to change rule-wise is the coaching box is now going to be enforced. Umpires are being instructed to ensure that base coaches are within their designated boxes down the first and third base lines, while the pitcher is on the rubber. The pitcher is on the rubber. One violation will result in a warning, while future violations may result in an ejection from the game. For this old scout, the keywords are may result in an ejection from the game. Either the coach violated the rule a second time and should be ejected, or he didn't. There should not be room for evocation, interpretation. Are you in the box? Are you not in the box? I have read some pretty interesting stories from third base coaches and first base coaches, but more third base coaches that are claiming that they might be injured for having to stay in the box, that they don't want to stay there, but it's to try to stop sign stealing and try to stop from relaying signals to players, to runners, the old school stealing of signs. This is an attempt to end the stealing of signs. Does it work? I don't know. We'll see. Baseball clearly wants to do this. We'll see it tonight. And when you have a game in prime time and you have a game where millions of people are going to tune into Netflix tonight, 8:00 Eastern, for the Giants and the Yankees, 5:00 local time start. So the sun's still going to be out. It's supposed to be cloudy in San Francisco tonight, like 65 degrees. So decent weather, but not sunny. I think it's very interesting to see how that gets enforced tonight. You would assume it's going to be enforced a lot. In the early part of the season, they're going to try to make sure that coaches stay in the first base and third base boxes like it's Little League. Some of these third base coaches are like halfway down home plate, right? Down the line towards home plate. I'll be very curious to see how that rule gets implemented in the way that that's put into place. And does that increase scoring, hurt scoring? How does that work going into Major League Baseball? But the ABS system tonight is going to be interesting to see. You've got two very good pitchers tonight in Logan Webb and Max Fried. The total for that game is 7. It was 6.5 at open. It's been bet to 7. A lot of people like the Giants as a home dog tonight to get off to a victory and beat the Yankees tonight. There's a lot of public money coming in on New York. I'll be very curious. I can't wait to see how the ABS system is utilized. When is it utilized? Who does it anger? Who is it embarrass? Because in spring training, it was all about embarrassing the umpires. In spring training, it was tap the hat, tap the hat, tap the hat, constantly doing that. And it was, in one game involving the Red Sox, there were 6 consecutive pitches that were challenged and the umpire was wrong every single time. And then the crowd gets on the umpire and it turns into just kind of a spectacle. Baseball doesn't want that. That's why there's only 2 challenges per side. But This is kind of like your challenge flags in the NFL, and it's your challenges in the NHL. You can review offsides. Like, these are all the things, challenge on whose ball is it, who touched the ball last in college basketball, what foul happened in the NBA. These are all the usage of instant replay that people want. The difference is we're taking the technology from tennis and we're putting it to baseball. As I've said before, I'm not actually in favor of this. I like the human element for balls and strikes. I want replay for every scoring play. I want replay used for every base, but I don't want replay at home plate. I like the mistakes. I like different umpires having different strike zones. I think that's what makes baseball unique, but that also pisses off younger fans and makes people angry. They want to see this. They want to see umpires be held accountable for being shitty at their job. Like that's basically what they're after. They want that to happen. They want to make sure that the umpires, if they are bad, that these umpires are held to account. And they can't and aren't allowed to get away with having a really wide strike zone, or to squeeze a pitcher, or to have a really high strike zone, or give too many strikes down below the waist, or whatever it is, right? Down below the knees, wherever their strike zone is. We'll see how it happens. Bring back Angel Hernandez. Yep, he got out of it, unfortunately, Eric. Angel Hernandez did retire, but there are other umpires that fans are, basically putting them in their sights for how they're going to wind up going. Let's make some bets, including tonight's game with the Yankees. Just the picks being brought to you by our friends at the Betting Pros Prop Bet Cheat Sheet. Tonight's NBA games, including OKC and the Celtics big game tonight. You want to bet some props? You can go and download the Betting Pros app and get the Prop Bet Cheat Sheet, or go to bettingpros.com/NBA props to see what the algorithm says for tonight's games in the NBA. Speaking of the Yankees and the Giants, I like the under tonight. I know some people have talked about the over. These teams played early in the year last year in New York. 2 of the 3 games went over. However, that was in Yankee Stadium. This is Logan Webb and Max Fried. Logan Webb at home last year was awesome. ERA around 3 was very tough to beat. Max Fried last year in April was untouchable. Now, I know it's March, but early in the year, Max Fried was dominant. He did have a start against Cincinnati last year in March in which he gave up 6 runs, but only 2 were earned. It was a 20-9 victory for the Yankees against Cincinnati, but Max Fried was good. You would expect the bullpens to be ahead of the hitters early in the year. So we're talking about flame-throwing arms for both the Giants and the Yankees coming out of the bullpen. So I think if the starters don't get lit up early, if they're dominant, which I think that they're going to, I don't think we see many runs in the later part of the innings, later part of the game, and we see this game go under. It feels like a 4-2 final, a 3-1 final, somewhere in that range. It's an unders ballpark. Like we know, the Giants are a very tough team to deal with just at home. I get the idea why people like the Giants to win this game, but I'm going with the Yankees and the Giants. Opening day under 7, opened at 6.5, was bet down to it was bet up rather to 7, and that's where it currently sits. It's juiced to the under, -115 or -120 to the under at the moment. We're going under 7 tonight for the Giants and the Yankees. Celtics and the Thunder, game of the night. This is unbelievable. Boston is 2-8 over their last 10 games against the Thunder, including a loss up against the Thunder in OKC, 104-102. I do like the under in this game. However, the reason why I like Boston at +3.5 more is because I do think it comes down to a one-possession game. This is an awesome game to watch. People are pissed off because it's not on national TV, and I would agree. This game should be on national TV. This is stunning. This game is not a nationally televised game. I don't care what's going on with baseball. I don't care what's going on with the NIT tonight. This should be a nationally televised game when the Thunder and the Celtics are getting together. Tatum will play. We have Jaylen Brown that will play. Again, Celtics first half team total over. I'd be careful. Everyone's asking me about that. This is the Thunder, and they are one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. I prefer the under for the game. I don't know if I want to go team total, either team, or first half team total over or under for the Celtics, but Joe Mazzulla remembers this type of stuff. The guy's nuts. He knows he's only beaten this team 2 times in their last 10 meetings. This is about Boston putting a message out that if they see the Thunder in the finals, it's not going to be easy for OKC. OKC is pretty healthy coming in to Boston. SGA hit the game-winning shot against the Celtics. It was when he broke the record for the most 20-point games in consecutive fashion in the NBA against Boston. So Boston had to watch that in the 104-102 victory for OKC last time out. I think the under is the play. I think the dog is the play. And I think you have to sprinkle Celtics money line because I think Joe Mazzulla wants this game. I expect intensity, playoff atmosphere in Boston tonight. I think it's going to be a really fun game. Under 217.5, 218, somewhere in that range. And I like OKC. I like Celtics plus 3.5 and Celtics money line. NIT games. Dayton and Illinois State. This number has gone all the way up to 41 at certain books already. I'm on the over 139 simply because this number was too low. Like 139, most games involving Illinois State and Dayton, most of these games have been like 145 or 150. This is a weird number to me that this number at 139, it was too low. Dayton's going to hit threes tonight. They're at home. Their fans are going to show out here. Chance to go to New York for the Final Four. I like the over in this game. I'm surprised at that number being as low as it was last night. It is 141 now. So we have seen some movement to the over to kind of get it back to where it probably should have been. I think that game probably falls somewhere around 143, 145, somewhere in that range. And then finally, I like Nevada plus the points against Auburn. Auburn is the last Power Conference team left in the NIT. And Auburn at home, they've been awful against the spread this season. They've been awful lately against the spread. Nevada's been good against the spread lately, and Nevada wants to be in this game. I don't think Auburn wants to be in this game. I just don't think this is really a situation where Steve Alford, I think, has got his team. They won both games at home. They covered both games at home, and now they're on the road to Auburn. What's the crowd going to be like tonight at Auburn? I'm very curious. There's a lot of malaise going on down there on the plains at the moment. Bruce Pearl's kid had an okay first year. A lot of people didn't like the way that went down, the way his kid got the job and how late Bruce Pearl quit. So he basically forced the hands of the university to hire his son because there was nobody else there to take the job. Auburn's had kind of a rocky season because of it. I like Nevada keeping it close. They've been good against the spread. I like Nevada plus 9.5 coming up here for tonight. Should be a fun game in the NIT if you're looking for some college basketball, but I like Nevada. They may pull off the upset, just given the way Auburn's played this year. This might be Auburn just saying, we're not going in New York. We're good. And Nevada goes out there and wins the game outright. I like the Wolfpack at plus 9.5. News of the industry, thanks to our good friend, one Mr. Joe Brennan Jr. By the way, quick little note. When we start pushing the odds next Monday, when this show goes from BvB to PTO on Monday, there won't be a need for bonus time anymore. So because I'm the one doing all the editing for Sports Grid, the reason why we did bonus time, the reason why we played the bonus time stinger was because we had to go for an hour to go on Sports Grid. But because I'm the one picking what appears on Sports Grid anyway, I'm the one now that chooses what part of the show airs. So there is no need for bonus time anymore. So that will essentially go away. There won't be bonus time anymore for PTO on Friday. So come Monday. So because it's all going to be part of the same thing. So if I go on some swearing rant and it can't go on Sports Grid, I just edit it out. So I'm the one doing the editing. So there's not a need. There's no more, hashtag sorry, Will. I'm the one doing it. So like bonus time, we don't need, as of Friday, we won't do bonus time anymore. Just FYI on that. Our friend Joe Brennan Jr. pointed something out, which I thought was pretty darn funny. And this is from an article that ran on ingame.com. Joe Brennan Jr. tweeted, "This one should have come with a warning since I just sprayed my coffee all over my laptop. What made him do a spit take? For instance, A Massachusetts helpline story made national news. CBS ran a headline about calls to the state's, Massachusetts, problem gambling hotline being up 121% in a year. But a third of those calls were people asking for help logging into their sportsbook accounts. Tech support, not crisis calls. And when you look at how many calls actually led to treatment referrals, that number went down from 31% to 20% of the calls to the mass gambling related hotline actually leading to treatment. The reason why that's significant is because we have so many negative stories being thrown around about sports gambling and sports betting in general. And that when we're talking about sports gambling, we're not talking about it in the right way. So often we're just taking these headlines and we're pushing these narratives about the dangers and destruction that sports gambling is doing to young men without actually taking a hard look at what actually is happening. Like this, for instance. This I loved. This is your average wager. This is from a poll that came out last week. Among those who bet online for sports, the most common wager size are $10 to $25 and less than $10. However, nearly 30% of online bettors are regularly placing wagers of $50 or more, and more than 1 in 10 are wagering more than $250 on an average bet. Unsurprisingly, those betting large amounts of money online tend to be 1, relatively high income bettors, and 2, relatively older gamblers, especially those in the 35 to 54 range, which is where I fall. But look at where the majority, half of adults who are over the age of 21, half of the adults who are betting, their average unit size is less than $10 or between $10 and $25. Can we please stop the bullshit about the destruction of young men in America? Can we please stop this? Because it's being parroted by so many people about how young men are losing so much money and they're falling further and further in debt, and these men are destroying their lives. How often are we seeing this? And we're literally seeing these data points come out. It's 50% of people are betting $25 or less. I can tell you the vast majority of the Daily Juice audience falls into that category. And that is why when people talk to me like all the time about the Daily Juice and who is your audience, Matt? Like, who are you talking to? I'm like, I'm talking to a guy who's betting $15 a game that he may have $50 a day in play. Maybe. The vast majority of people are doing this for entertainment. Are there some people who are having trouble in betting too much and losing a lot of money? Absolutely. Are there some men, young men, who are using credit cards to bet? Absolutely. This is all, but there are also some young men out there who are smoking meth every damn day as well. Like, people make bad choices all the time. Like, it's people just do stupid stuff. There's some guys who go to the bar and they can't stop. They have one drink, they have 10 drinks. They have one shot, they have 10 shots. Like, people, human beings, they're built differently. But we don't need to have one rule for everyone. And just because there are some young men who are getting in trouble with sports gambling, it doesn't mean that all young men are getting in trouble with sports gambling. Let adults do adult things. And we're getting more and more evidence that all this negativity and all this nastiness that's been projected at sports gambling is from people who have agendas, who make money through this. Either they're trying to push prediction markets, or they're trying to push online casino gambling, or something else, that they make the sports gambling side of things like that's the boogeyman, right? That's the boogeyman of the gambling world now. It's, that 22-year-old guy who's, it's so akin to me. It feels like when I was in college and I would talk to people about the legalization of cannabis, and how people would tell me that the legalization of cannabis, you go from marijuana to crack pretty fast. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, it's a gateway drug. What are you talking about? It's not even what? Like, have you ever tried the substance? Do you understand what that is? You don't go from marijuana to heroin. It doesn't look. Ask everybody who's ever been addicted to heroin, what's the first drug that they started with? Yeah, but would they have found their way to heroin anyway? Like, is marijuana to blame? Did they go from marijuana to heroin because of marijuana, or did they go from marijuana to heroin because marijuana wasn't strong enough? And they, as a person, they wanted the heroin, not the marijuana. Like, there wasn't like a little, like, pot leaf on their shoulder, like saying, "Hey, by the way, go do heroin." Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's just dumb. I feel the same way with sports gambling. It's like, hey, these guys who are betting $15 on a basketball game, next thing you know, they're out there, having to go and throw $500 down on roulette trying to pay their rent. No, that's not what's happening. So why are we doing this? Why are we attacking people in this way? It doesn't make any sense to me about how this goes down so often. And we attack all vices, right? I'm from Massachusetts. We used to have things called blue laws, right? You used to not be able to buy beer on Sundays in Massachusetts. Most of my adult life, or most of my childhood rather, until I turned an adult, you were not able to buy beer. When I was in college, you could not buy beer in Massachusetts on Sundays. You had to drive to New Hampshire or drive to Vermont to go buy beer on Sundays. It was the single stupidest thing ever. You couldn't serve alcohol. It was just dumb. And then it changed and people realized how dumb it was. And do we have problems with alcohol? Yes. Are we always going to have problems with alcohol? Of course. It's a vice. But we legalized cannabis and the world didn't end. Mass is now legal for cannabis. Right? Nevada is legal for cannabis. California is legal for cannabis. These places aren't like war zones. Okay. Like, people aren't shooting up needles on the side of the road, right? We aren't seeing this. Okay. I'm always so amazed by the level of hyperbole that's thrown around for all of these things. Oh, AP, you have no idea. Sugar is a vice. That's my addiction. I'm not addicted to anything. I'm not addicted to drugs. I'm not addicted to alcohol. I am 100% addicted to sugar. And my doctor's like, you got to cut this out. Like, I just had my annual physical. I just went through all of it. Yes, sugar is an absolute vice. 100%. It's a whole issue coming up in that. So, take it what it is. We will do a bonus time. Although I just told you, bonus time is ending in 2 days, but we'll do a bonus time anyway. If you're watching live, don't move. We have more to come here. We'll do favorite thing about today on the other side, and then we will get into some other topics as well. If you're watching on Sports Grid, thank you for being here. We're back tomorrow, 1 p.m. live, 1 a.m. replayed on Sports Grid here for BvB. Chef Benny said, I'm addicted to that chocolate chip cookie. Yeah, I am too. Yep, 100%. I'm 2 days clean from sugar. Oh boy, man. I once caught I once caught myself trying to track down. I put sugar in my coffee. So I get up at about 6:30 in the morning. So sugar hits my brain at like 6:40 every day. Like, I get up, I make my coffee, and I'm a cream and sugar guy. I'm only one sugar, but I'm one sugar, one cream guy in my coffee. Like, bang, like right away, boom. So you're telling me I got to get up and I got to drink coffee without sugar. Yeah, that would not be easy at all on that. Oh, I cut back on it for sure. Well, that was me doing the hard 75. Yeah, I cut back on it, and I have to get back into that because like my shoulder is all messed up. So I need to get back. I haven't been able to do a lot. I've been rehabbing for 6 months now. I have physical therapy today after Eric. Yes, Eric, I am teaching today at UNLV. And then I'm going to my physical therapist after that. And I've been doing physical therapy now for a couple of times a week for 6 months, and I have decent mobility in my shoulder. I mean, I can kind of move it. I can't move it the way I can move my other shoulder. But I'm trying to get that back after tearing the pec in June of last year. But I haven't been able to do much cardio, and I haven't been able to do much in terms of like a hard 75 type of life. So I have to go back into that. April is when I am scheduled to go back into sort of a more aggressive workout regiment. And I'm looking forward to doing that. I did not realize it was going to be 100 in March. That kind of has changed my opinion a little bit about what I'm going to be dealing with. It's supposed to be 70. It's supposed to be 75 degrees right now. It's supposed to be 75 next week though. So maybe this is going to be over. Only drinking water and black coffee. See, even when I did the hard 75, I ended up cheating because you're supposed to drink that black coffee and water, kind of like you're going in for a colonoscopy every day. 12-hour fast, no sugar, minimum carbs. You lost 4 pounds in the first day. Good for you. Here's the problem with that, AP. You got to keep it off. I've got some days. There was a day, I think like 7 days ago. I think I weighed like 211. And then like the next day I was weighing like 214. Like I went right back to my normal weight. Like I lost 3 pounds and then I went right back up. Like our bodies fluctuate so much when it comes to weight that like, that's the worry. You're like, okay, you did that in 24 hours, like bam, your body, it's kind of like fighters, right? Fighters can cut 30 pounds, but then they go right back up to their walking weight. So keeping it off, that's the hardest part. It's not just, doing it, it's keeping it off. Sonic says sugar inherently adds to fast foods and restaurant foods, processed foods is terrible to try to avoid. Yep. Terrible. 100% terrible. But here's the thing for me, being gluten-free, I'm not like a Tom Brady type. I eat pretty poorly, but because I eat gluten-free, I do avoid a lot of processed foods because I can't eat it. So I do end up eating a lot of cheeses and grapes and fruits and vegetables and protein. I mean, that's why the Huel stuff, like I'm not like I do the reads for Huel. They sponsor the show, but I'm not bullshitting you. I'm telling you the truth because I need that stuff. I need stuff like that. I need to have quick, easy protein, gluten-free things that I can make fast because inherently the vast majority of things that you will eat quickly that you need to be made fast, 90% of them have gluten. Like most of them are quick, easy foods that you can eat and they all have gluten. So that's always my big issue when it comes to having to eating food fast. It's all got something that's going to kill my stomach. It sucks. It's no fun on that, not by any means. But yeah, I am due for a pretty big weight loss regimen coming up here, April. My birthday is April the 4th. Easter is April the 6th. I'm supposed to start it on that Monday. April 6th, Monday, I'm going for a 30-day. I'm doing a hard 30 starting on April the 6th. And let's see how I do. I don't know, but that's the play. That's the plan. That's the hope that I'm able to kind of go ahead and get that done. Favorite thing about today. Look, my favorite thing about today, and I don't really consider today to be opening day. I will be honest. Tomorrow is opening day. But today is the first official day of the start of the Major League Baseball regular season. And having baseball back is awesome. I have called baseball my summertime friend for a long time. And getting baseball back this year, after what happened last year for me, where I did really well betting, I am very excited to watch the game tonight. I want to watch Boston and Oklahoma City just as much. I will watch both the Thunder and the Celtics, and I will watch the Yankees and the Giants. I want to see what the Diamondbacks look like out of the gate. They play the Dodgers in their first series. I am clearly higher on the Red Sox than I am than other people, and I really do think the Red Sox are going to be a formidable opponent in the American League. If you go by the last 3 seasons for Boston sports, I think the hatred of Boston sports is actually causing depressed numbers in the market. The Patriots went over their win total. The Red Sox went over their win total. The Celtics went over their win total. And the Bruins went over their win total. The last 4 seasons of Boston sports for their win total. I have bet all 4, and all 4 have gone over. Correct. Check that. I did not bet the Patriots. Wrong. Bet the Patriots to go to the Super Bowl. I did not bet the Patriots win total. So excuse me. But I did bet them to go to the Super Bowl, and that did come in. So I think when you look at the Red Sox right now and their win total, we'll do it tomorrow. Okay, we'll get into it. I'll give you my bet, but I'm betting over on the Red Sox win total. People just are expecting, because of their hatred, because of their, such despising of New England sports, that they're betting unders almost because they just want it to be true, not because they think it's going to happen, just they want it to be true. And we have seen 4 consecutive seasons of overs come in, and I think this Red Sox team is going to be better than people think. We'll talk about that coming up on the show for tomorrow. It is a Bet Chris Arizona Thursday. Where in the world will Adam Bjorn be tomorrow? I have no idea. Can't wait to find out where he is tomorrow. We'll find out what celebrity is he hanging out with now. Last week it was Willie Nelson. This week, I don't know. Let's see what ends up happening here for that on Thursday for us. And reminder, what's happening on Friday, as BvB's name will change coming up on Friday. As we're calling it, we're going to close the book officially and move from BvB to PTO. Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault will debut on Monday, March the 30th, all part of Opening Line Media. Opening Line Media is up and going at the moment with our YouTube channel that has already changed. The name change took effect about a week and a half ago. You guys can go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Opening Line Media or on X at Opening Line HQ. The BvB account at Boston versus the book will be shifting as well to Pushing the Odds coming up on Friday. I will talk to you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, live for a Bet Chris Thursday with our friend Adam Bjorn, and Sweet 16 bets for Thursday and on Friday, and opening day baseball bets as well. Big show tomorrow on Thursday for BvB.